and welcome back to my little film and TV channel. I hope you're all staying safe and well. We have a little film review today on the channel. And yes, please, if you are new to this, I try and inform and entertain, give you other people's views of films, my own views, of course. And if you are new to it, please push that subscribe button, push the bell notifications. These vlogs are coming out, and thumbs up to make an old film watcher very, very happy. Much appreciated. Give us a like, guys, and spread the word, spread the word. We're going to look at film. It's called Benediction. It's a 12A certificate. It's actually out to buy. I'll give you the details at the end of this. 137 minutes, so 2 hours, 17 minutes. Yes, you know me and long films, but I don't mind when it's something like this, or in theory, something like this. Anyway, this is showing on Netflix as I'm recording this on the 19th of August 2022, so all comments and scores are at that date. It's a biographical drama. But yeah, with a lot of black and white footage, still footage of World War One soldiers, etc., etc. And it's written and directed by Terence Davies. Yeah, very good reputation. Stars Jack Lowden and Peter Capaldi as the war poet. Obviously, one young version, one old version. War poet Siegfried Sassoon. Yeah, a little bit of him in a bit. Also stars Simon Russell Beale, Jeremy Irvine, Callum Lynch, Kate Phillips, Gemma Jones, and Ben Daniels. Yeah, a good, mainly UK cast, just good actors. If we don't, I've watched many UK films and dramas, biopics where some are a bit iffy, but yeah, a good cast. This was released in the UK at the cinema. As I said, it's on DVD now, but back on May the 20th, 2022. So it didn't have a long run at the cinema. And what did the public think? Those who did watch it or bought the DVD? Well, Rotten Tomatoes, 65% positivity. That's good. That's the public of Rotten Tomatoes, not the critics. 3.6 out of 5 equates to 7.2 out of 10. Internet Movie Database, Joe Public, 6.7 out of 10. Again, very healthy. And if I'd sort of look at the scores and look at the stats, 866 people scored it between 6 and 9, and 260 scored it between 2 and 5. So overall, ignore the 10 out of 10s, 1 out of 10s, because nothing's that bad or nothing's that good. Well, I'll probably say something is that bad sometimes, but yeah, for balance, I think I'd knock out the 1 out of 10s and 10 out of 10s, because nothing's worth 10 out of 10. I'm sorry, it just isn't. So that's 77% positivity if you look at pure stats. And it's the story of Siegfried Sassoon, the British poet who was sent to a psychiatric facility for his anti-war stance during World War One. He had affairs with several men during the 20s, a lot of well-known names as well crop up in this. Married and had a son, and after a crisis in faith, converted to Catholicism. That's the word, isn't it? Yeah, just briefly on that. I mean, that synopsis there, yeah, it just really touches upon things in this film, even though it's over 2 hours. Yeah, it's a little bit shallow on what it goes into. Really, we know it, but there's no great depth to it. So, but we'll talk about that later on. What about the critics? Well, the critics seem pretty positive, and the public's positive, so all good. Yeah, Rotten Tomatoes critics, 94% positivity, and 144 reviews, an average rate of 7.8 out of 10. Can't argue with that. And it's consensus of opinion on the site. It isn't an easy watch. Okay, well, I know what they're saying. But Benediction uncovers a profoundly affecting drama in the real-life story of a combat veteran whose poetry warned against the horrors of war. Yeah, there wasn't enough of that side of it. I mean, we probably need a mini-series for this, guys, in all fairness. I don't want to be overly critical on the film. It's just there's so much it never went into, and you sort of glosses over. It's got a limited budget, of course, and things like this. But yeah, it's again that sort of sounds better than actually probably the film was. 135 fresh, 9 rotten. So not many people. I've not even looked at the rotten, guys. It's not worth that low sort of percentage. Internet Movie Database. Their score 81%, their critics 32 critics, 30 positive and 2 mixed. So again, generally no negatives. Scored anywhere between 67 out of 100 and 88 out of 100. Rex Reed, he's from The Observer, and he was fresh on this on Rotten Tomatoes. He said, beautifully designed and photographed, it is. Sensitively written and directed, it is, by England's acclaimed Terence Davies, and impeccably acted by a distinguished cast that turns life into art. Benediction is one gorgeous motion picture. Yeah, yeah, but I'm more interested in being entertained and the story as well. But yeah, I can't disagree with much of what Rex Reed said there for the Observer. Build Eberi from the New York magazine Vulture. He said to call Benediction a biopic would be giving biopics a bit too much credit. They don't deserve Benediction. Okay, calm down a bit, Bill. A little bit over the top. Yeah, but there you go. The playlist Gregory Elwood, he scored this 67 out of 100 and said, despite Davis's lyrical direction, the obvious gaps in the screenplay provide too many holes for what strives to be a definitive portrait of an exceptional talent. Yeah, I still give it 67 out of 100, but I totally agree. But unfortunately, it only ran for 2 hours. It's not a mini series, as I've said before. So, yeah, it was limited by its time scale. But I do agree again, Gregory was positive, but a little bit negative. So I do agree with that. The Guardian's Peter Bradshaw, he gave it 80 out of 100. He said, Benediction is not an easy experience, and some of the caustic, brittle dialogue scenes with Sassoon's celebrity acquaintances are grating, yet deliberately so. The sadness is overwhelming. Yeah, I agree. Obviously, the most of the sadness, perhaps a little sadness in the character himself, but the World War One images provoke sadness, of course, with the poetry being read over them as well. Yeah, as I said, the story was sad, but in a different sort of way. So before we go, my little thoughts on this. I am going to give this a 6 out of 10. I'm just going to give it a watchable rating. So, let's try and sum up my little thoughts. I mean, I'm never a big fan of poetry at school, or even now. I have tried because I love reading. I like novels of all types, but. I did find the Wilfred Owen stuff I remember at school, at high school, certainly more interesting than most. And obviously, we're talking that sort of genre, aren't we, as far as poetry is concerned. And of course, the background to the poetry in this World War One, with the pictures and the soldiers added to this biopic, certainly adds to it. Adds to the poetry, makes it more interesting. Very sad, of course, and poignant. And as I say, Sassoon is a guy I had no idea. We never. I don't think we were taught him at high school. That's for sure. I might have forgotten. I've forgotten more. Certainly forgotten more than I can remember. Let's be honest about it. But I didn't really know too much about Sassoon. So, as far as gaps in his story, you can only imagine. Yes, there is, because you only see a limited amount on screen. But as to what, where, and why, yeah, it's hard to tell. I mean, the 2 hours, 10 minutes of the story did fly by for me. You know me, length of films. That's always a good sign if something goes very quickly. But overall, at the end of it, I just thought it was a competent telling of a story, not totally gripping for a biopic, and that's how I felt. And I did feel as though it's more a mini series this needs than just a straightforward 2 hour, 10 minute, 2 hour, 15-minute film. Well shot, as someone said, the critics there, well put together. I wouldn't mind a little bit more background on the characters because I'd never really invested in them. Even Sassoon himself, I didn't quite invest in the characters. And I always felt it could have been a little bit deeper and informative within constraints of the time it was on and being a film. But yeah, it was still an okay watch. So that's why it was a 6 out of 10 watchable for me. It's a bit down on most people's, but I say I just expected just a little bit more. I expected it to be obviously the shots, the stills, the black and white images alongside with the film. I expected that. I just thought the film would have been a little bit more interesting. And it was okay. Don't get me wrong, it was okay, but I just thought it could have been a little bit better. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please, whatever you do, please stay safe, everyone. Bye for now.